But I have heard so many remarkable testimonies about wonderful men and women that have been brought into the church that I would like to say, you never know whom you will save. To illustrate my point, I would like to go back in thought to my native Holland, where 6 generations of my father's ancestors lived in the little village of Scheveningen at the seashore. They were fishermen or had other related vocations, like fishing boat builders, sail makers, or fishing net repairmen. Many of them were also involved in the voluntary but hazardous task of life-saving. They were stout-hearted, experienced men who always were ready to man the rowing lifeboats to go on a rescue mission. With every westerly gale that blew, some fishing boats ran into difficulties, and many times the sailors had to cling to the rigging of their stricken ships in a desperate fight to escape inevitable drowning. And year after year, the sea claimed its victims. On one occasion, during a severe storm, a ship was in distress, and the rowing boat went out to rescue the crew of the fishing boat. The waves were enormous, and each of the men at the oars had to give all his strength and energy to reach the unfortunate sailors in the grim darkness of the night and the heavy rainstorm. The trip to the wrecked ship was successful, but the rowing boat was too small to take the whole crew in one rescue operation. One man had to stay behind on board because there simply was no room for him, and the risk that the rescue boat would capsize was too great. But the same crew could not make the second trip because they were exhausted from their fight with the storm winds, the waves, and the sweeping rains. So the local captain of the Coast Guard asked for volunteers to make a second trip. Among those who stepped forward without hesitation was a 19-year-old youth by the name of Hans. With his mother, he had come to the beach in his oilskin clothes to watch the rescue operation. When Hans stepped forward, his mother panicked and said, "Hans, please don't go. Your father died at sea when you were 4 years old, and your older brother Pete has been reported missing at sea for more than 3 months now. You are the only son left to me." But Hans said, "Mom, I feel I have to do it. It is my duty." And the mother wept and restlessly started pacing the beach when Hans boarded the rowing boat, took the oars, and disappeared into the night. After a struggle with the high-going seas that lasted for more than an hour, and to Hans's mother it seemed an eternity, the rowing boat came into sight again. And when the rescuers had approached the beach close enough so that the captain of the Coast Guard could reach them by shouting, he cupped his hands around his mouth and called vigorously against the storm, "Did you save him?" And then the people lighting the sea with their torches saw Hans rise from his rowing bench, and he shouted with all his might, "Yes, and tell Mother it's my brother Pete." You never know whom they will save. It may be the one that on life's billows is tempest-tossed, or it may even be the one that had been reported missing at life's sea. And when someone will be saved through their rescue mission, oh, how great will be their joy with him or her in the kingdom of our Father.